I actually had a cool hair day going on today. It was all just falling completely like long and flat down against like the sides of my cheek. And of course, the second I turn my camera on, it looks like I got a bad hangover. Comb over. So we'll just go with the hat as usual. One moment. For those of you that don't know, that's called the poof up method. You just poof up the front right there. So it looks like you got hair like this. Actually, I'll turn the light on. Might make it easy to see. You poof up the front like this, and then you just wrap the top around that. So it looks like you still got hair, and then you just tuck this back. So yeah, feel free to use the poof out method for those reclining hairlines. And before we get into today, I do have a quick news story. But first, I wanted to bring you this channel's sponsor of the day, which is the Claw Club community mascot, Hares the Cat. Hares! Hares! Look at you, buddy. You're famous. Well, not famous. You might be seen by about 15 people, but that's 15 milliseconds of your 15 minutes of fame. Come on, you used to be the mascot for a channel I ran with 30,000 people on it. On Facebook, at least. You can handle this duty. Anyways, let's leave Hares in his natural habitat, licking his crotch, and usually lying upside on my bed. Which I think shows a degree of comfort or comfortability that he will literally lay, and that's how he sleeps, on his back with his paws up with his tummy exposed. And so I kind of like that, you know, it's very endearing. So let's hop into this right after we roll that intro. Welcome back, Claw Club community. It's time for the claws to come out. Okay, just starting off with a quick vape break there. Before we get into some sad news, it seems that Iskar, or Dean Ailelia, I am sorry if I butchered that. My last name has 11 characters in it and is German, so I get it all the time. So I don't like it when people do it to me, and sorry if I did it to you. But let's just call him Iskar. Iskar is leaving Blizzard. Not just his new promotion that he got about 6 months ago to become game director after Ben Lee left, but he's leaving Blizzard entirely. It says, in a rather short statement, Augustine Iskar Alela announced his departure from Blizzard after 11 years. Iskar has previously worked as a quality assurance on Blizzard titles such as StarCraft 2 and Diablo 3. He must have had a big hand in StarCraft 2, because the quality on StarCraft 2 was just fucking phenomenal. Diablo 3, I don't think he was the head quality assurance person on that game. I mean, putting in a real money auction house, God. You know, he probably was like the quality assurance, and he probably called this shit out so many times that it just got fed up with him after Diablo Immortal and now this own Runestone stuff. And he just doesn't work well with, you know, being able to design an incredible game and then have it shoved into the ground and predatorily monetized by the higher ups, which, you know, doesn't make much sense. You know, to have that split in the company, because you're pouring all this money into these phenomenal games. I mean, I just watched a video the other day that was like, is Heroes of the Storm a dead game outperforming its competition? We're gonna go lights out, let the lights light this up. Yeah, Diablo 3 was a fucking mess when it came out. The real auction house, besides maybe Asmongold, who wanted to turn it into a legitimate business, which is, from all the years I've watched Asmongold, that seems like the perfect job from him. Just grinding gold, fucking. Because one thing that kid does not have is fucking ADHD. I mean, he can sit down and play 9 hours of Warcraft, fucking, like it's nothing. Like he does treat it like it's his job. He puts in the work and the effort, and now he's got his own company, he's a multimillionaire, all this shit. One bad thing I think maybe that has come out of Asmongold is OTK purchasing, or not rather purchasing, but hiring the East Coast staff of Artesian Builds. Now, I know the East Coast staff was like on point, and they were putting out like 5 or 6 times as many computers as the West Coast Artesian Builds, primarily because the CEO, that piece of shit whose name I can't remember, just wanted to be, a famous internet influencer. And so he spent more time streaming on builds they were giving away to high profile streamers to try to launch what they've already launched. I mean, they were like a $40 million company at some point. So, Asmongold, if you ever do watch this, I hope you know that there's a video out there, which I'm sure you're aware of. You're always 5 steps ahead of everybody when it comes to what's going on the internet. But if you haven't seen it, there's this British or Australian guy called Tech Tips or something like that. It's not Linus Tech Tips. It's some British Australian guy. Just look it up. The title is something like Starforged, Goodbye, or mess, or something like that in the thumbnail. And basically what he's saying is, although he sees the idea that you're going for, that the parts just don't seem correct. Like, why would you use this certain graphics card with this certain chipset or this certain RAM? And then he goes on to, for people that want to build stuff on their own, he goes out and prices stuff on a website and shows that it can be done if you want to build it on your own, for, just a couple $100 less, which actually shows pretty good for your company. But he also shows that takes entail that he put much higher end equipment in there, which doesn't leave a good taste in your mouth about Starforged. As well, he critiques, each level of pre-made computer you put out, and he does it with an understanding that, you need to make money. You have to source these parts, you have to build these things. But he questions the quote on your website that says, excuse me, I've been going through a bit of a cold, that says, your package or Starforge PC will arrive as soon as the drop ship drops it off to us. So basically he's wondering if you're like a middleman for a middleman, like you're having this East Coast team that you hired off of Artesian Builds because they were doing such a good job. If you're really just a middleman for them, and like, why didn't they just create their own business? And he points out a lot of good things, that even your higher model end specs use weirdly fitted together components. And although he says, like, he goes over the price point, he's like, okay, so off this one, he's like, if they were to construct it with these parts, he's like, even these upgraded parts that I've found, they're going to make about $700. He's like, but this is a, like a 30 plus $3,000 computer. He's like, so that's understandable. He's like, this comes with all the bells and whistles. He's like, I've just made what's going inside the PC make more sense. Because it seems like you need someone at the company that is like, kind of like this guy, that is not just a computer enthusiast or computer builder and that knows intricacies, but knows the compatibilities of different chipsets, graphic cards, RAM, power supplies, and stuff like that, which you could get at cheaper prices for better products, but they would fit better with other components and just make your computers run a lot more smoothly. He didn't touch on the fact that your logo looks like a dick and balls with a satanic cross on it, but I mean, we all kind of know that already. And yeah, he basically ended his video with saying, I see that they have some type of affiliation with Artesian Builds. So he went on to say that at the end of his episode, he saw on your website that you had some sort of affiliation, or with rather, Artesian Builds, and that kind of scared him off, and said that it should scare off any consumer because Artesian Builds went bankrupt and they owe millions out in unfulfilled purchases, as well as people that sent their stuff in for repair and have like home videos and home movies or maybe more personal stuff on there. And those are just lying around or confiscated by now if the warehouse has been cleaned out, that just weren't fulfilled. And he wonders if you guys are like on the obligation for it, which we all know you're not. You didn't revive Artesian Builds. You just stole their best workers. And hell, why not? They're their best workers. But I really think you should get an inside man. Like, I'm sure you have managers. I'm sure, you know, OTK as a business itself and Starforge flying under the OTK banner. I'm sure you have business managers. I'm sure you have people that deal with all of this. But at the time, whatever business manager or person in OTK put whoever's in charge of putting the pieces in the pre-made PCs is not doing a very good job. You can get much better deals. I believe there's this new company called like Skygate that's putting out computers that blow yours out of the water. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, these are like 3 times more expensive parts for hundreds of dollars less than what you're charging. So I just wanted to let you aware of that. I know I'm a 70 subscriber channel and you're up for Streamer of the Year, so you're probably never going to see this. And as we transition into the last of the Blizzard news, we have some sad news to go over about somebody leaving the company. Iskar is leaving Blizzard, not just Hearthstone. He was the game director of Hearthstone after Ben Lee stepped down, which Ben Lee got game director after Ben Brode stepped down, and as most of us know, Ben Brode's now working with a new studio making Marvel Snap, which seemed like it was going to be a really awesome game, but they then all of a sudden decide to predatorily monetize it. Go figure. Even someone like Ben Brode can fuck up a game. So Iskar's been doing this for about 6 months, and I guess he just had enough. I don't know if it's the disconnect between the developers of the game and the higher-ups trying to push predatory monetization into all of these Blizzard games. Like now with Hearthstone, we have rune stones that you have to convert currency over, which is just a form of obscuring and making it harder for people to figure out how much money they've spent, and also I can't remember the technical name for it, but leftovers or unders. Like there's certain packages that you can't buy with money anymore. Like everything used to just be straight up money. You would just buy it with money, and sometimes gold if they allowed gold purchases on it. Now most of the bundles and most of the stuff they sell is in rune stones, and of course some of them cost 1,200, but you can only buy 1,500. So you got to spend that extra money, and then you got 300 runestones, and you're like, well, what am I going to buy with these 300? Oh, well, there's nothing I can buy, so I got to buy more runestones. You know, it's that type of shit. And in other cases, you know, they'll sell something at like, I don't know, 500 runestones, and like the least amount you can get is 1,000. So, or sorry, the other way around. Like, they'll sell something for like, excuse me, I'm trying to think. And then there's the other way around, where they'll sell something for a couple thousand, but the closest package they have is 1,500. So you have to buy that twice. I actually did the math on it, and it's actually better for your wallet to buy the $4.99 bundles of runestones repetitively over buying the larger one, because the tax is actually less. It actually evens out. I can't remember what I was buying, but I had to buy it with runestones. I couldn't buy it with regular money anymore. And when I tried to just buy the runestones, I was like a penny or two off on my bank card, which I didn't realize. And it actually ended up being like 7 or 8 cents. So then I just bought the runestones in $4.99 bundles, like the lowest bundle you can get. And not only was I able to purchase the thing that I was getting, but I still had like 15 cents left over in on the card I was using. So anyways, announced his departure from Blizzard after 11 years. Iskar has previously worked as a quality assurance on Blizzard titles such as StarCraft 2. Wonderful job there, Iskar. StarCraft 2 is amazing. And Diablo 3, I obviously you didn't do it alone, and obviously it came from the higher ups that there was going to be a real money auction house in there. But I mean, the game was what it was. It was a mediocre Diablo, and I'm hoping they can fix that in number 4. They've already announced that the only thing that they will be selling in Diablo 4 is cosmetic stuff only, so nothing that'll give you an advantage. And if they stick to that, then maybe they can retain some of their goodwill. But I think they've cashed in most of their goodwill with Diablo Immortal. I just don't know. So before joining the Hearthstone team in a designer role back in 2014, he became a lead designer a few years ago, and roughly 6 months ago took over the role of game director. It's hard to say what kind of impact his time as game director had on Hearthstone, because it was rather brief, and most of the decisions made during his tenure wouldn't even come to fruition. Yeah, that's true. They're usually, I believe they say, 1 to 2 expansions in the future. But he wrote this following tweet: "After 11 years, I'm leaving Blizzard. Hearthstone is an incredible game. To have played even a small part in its creation is an honor I'll never forget. Thank you to all the players, and a special thank you to my fellow game creators. I am proud of all we built together." And then he took a picture of himself there, which is really cool. Yeah, let's just go to his Twitter. So I'm kind of wondering if he left because of just the extremely bad work environment at Blizzard, just being a toxic place to work, you know, with all the sexual harassment stuff, and just Bobby Kotick being a fucking lunatic, threatening to kill people, yet they still give him an extension. Yeah, he's making the company money because he's ruining your company name. He's cashing in the Blizzard name for short-term gains, and I don't think that's just going to hurt you in the long run, because nobody's going to trust you anymore. So I don't know why he left. Maybe he's just making a life decision, you know, that he wanted to do something different with his life. I mean, you can see his portrait. He has a child. Maybe he just wants to spend more time with his family. Maybe he got a offer from another studio. Maybe it was Blizzard, and the constant fight between the developers making these amazing games and then the upper management sticking these predatory monetization things in them and fucking ruining all the hard work that these developers put into the games. So he says, my last day was today. Thanks everyone for making it memorable. Shout out to the original Final Design crew. I learned from you all how to do this. And finally, to the Kriparian. Without your stream and wanting to Q snipe you in arena, who knows if I'd ever become good enough to apply for a job. Crip launched so many careers, and people don't really realize that. Like, Zeddy used to moderate for Crip, and that's how he got into doing YouTube and streaming and stuff. And you can see here, even Iskar, the lead game designer for Hearthstone, the game that Kriparian plays predominantly now. I know it's Battlegrounds, but it used to be Arena, and before that Standard. He was like saying, you know, without wanting to Q snipe you in Arena, who knows if I'd ever become good enough to apply for the job. So, to the Kriparian, I like that. Lifelong friends, can't wait till next in-person BlizzCon to meet up and have dinner again. Oh, that's awesome. Until next time, card gamers rule. So yeah, Iskar's leaving. If you have any joyful stories or anything to say about Iskar leaving Blizzard, or just any memorable Blizzard stories, or any fears you have about upcoming Blizzard titles, or anything they could do to change what they're doing to make things better, write it all down in the comments. I'd love to hear it. If you'd like to help the channel evolve, there's Cash App, # GrimClaws, GrimClawz. It is not obligatory. It's just there if you want to help the channel grow. If you want to help with medical expenses, it's up to you. It's either way, God bless. And I just hope you enjoy the content. That's what I'm doing this for. So, I hope you got something out of the news. Again, congratulations, Ixar, on whatever's coming up next in your life. With that said, just remember that every single one of you is another claw on the paw that can swipe through anything life throws at you. So no matter what condition you're in, no matter what hand of cards you have been dealt, you can get through it. You can swipe through anything that life throws at you. And if you need help, you can personally DM me on Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, or Facebook if you can wiggle that link somehow, and I will help you out. I used to run groups of 30,000 people on Facebook for inspirational projects and stuff, and I've also been a mental health rehabilitation technician for over 10 years, as well as a in-home provider, DSP. So, and there's always the rest of the Claw Club community who are outstanding people. They seem to really care. So, you know, chat amongst yourselves too if you need it. This community, like I said, has always got your back. And please, if you like the content, give it a like. A subscribe would definitely help. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so we can monetize, so we can start giving back to the community. I've explained that in some of my previous videos. And just write down in the comments about your favorite Blizzard memories growing up or recently, or just what you've taken away from, you know, how Blizzard used to be and how they are today, and what fond memories you have, what troubling memories you have, what fears you have about what may be coming down the pipeline from Blizzard, and just where you stand on all of this. And so with that said, GrimClaws out.